The number 2 seed Memphis with a 1-0 lead over South Florida here at halftime. We welcome you back to Tampa, Florida here. This is the American Athletic Conference Tournament Final. 6 minutes in, this is the start Memphis would like.
Yeah, and Boychuk had enough time to send over that volley. Center backs did not slide together. Dennis was that far center back. Didn't account to squeeze the space, which allowed that ball to go through to Laracy. She hits it to the far post. And Laracy setting up this one to Boychuk. Really nice slip ball, but coming off her line is Sydney Martinez able to get a touch, keep that one out.
Yeah, Laracy showing she was a provider. And look, the great attacker Evelyn Vienne really being dealt with well here today so far by Memphis.
Memphis has been able to isolate her, so she hasn't had too much time. They had USF had a couple opportunities getting forward. This isn't too difficult of a save for Moberg. But then coming in the game and making a difference was Olivia Cook. Not afraid to let this one go. Ends up hitting the crossbar. I don't think it was going to dip and go back in. But that really, bringing in Cook, really helped change some of the momentum for USF.
They took the energy towards the end of the second half. Can they bring it in the second? Memphis 1, South Florida 0.
You could have just camped out on the couch. But instead, you're camped out here, getting out of your comfort zone. It's possible in the all-new Santa Fe with Lane Keep Assist, part of the Hyundai SUV family.
Prenderò 10 biscotti e 12 bomboloni. I just got my Ancestry DNA results. 74% Italian. And I found out that I'm from the big toe of that sexy Italian boot.
Calabria.
It even shows the migration path from South Italia all the way to Exotico, New Jersey. So this holiday season, it's Ancestry DNA per tutti! Order your kit now at Ancestry.com.
Memphis with a 1-0 lead at halftime here over South Florida. 45 minutes to go here for the American Athletic Conference Tournament Final. Memphis has staked themselves out to a lead. By the way, this is a Memphis Tigers under Brooks Monaghan that has not lost on the road this year. They are 10-0. Conversely, South Florida has not lost at home this year, 9-0. So, big second half for both these teams. What are you looking for? What are you looking for in the second half here, Morgan, from South Florida first?
Well, it comes down to them being into the tackles and winning 50-50 balls. I don't think they've done a nice job matching the physicality for Memphis, and this is a championship game. They need to bring that intensity.
Let's go down to Haley Otten, who's with the head coach of USF, Denise Schulte-Brown.
Coach, down a goal, how does your team gain some control and momentum here in the second half?
You know, I don't think we could play much worse than we did in the first half. So, I mean, that was the talk at halftime. Everything was slow. Slow to get out of the back, slow to move, slow to react. It got a little bit better as the game went on, but just a really disappointing start. I don't know where the energy was. It did start in warm-up. It wasn't there. But, I mean, they got nothing to lose now, and honestly, I don't think it can be any worse.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Haley, and our thanks to Denise Schulte-Brown, who's not very, very happy. She said it was a very slow start. And it's interesting, she said they had a good warm-up, and a lot of times teams do have good warm-ups, and it just doesn't translate to the actual on-field playing. But there's somebody that can change the game. Evelyn Vienne is back on for USF in black, Memphis in white. They are in the pole position here heading into the final 45 minutes of the American Athletic Conference Women's Tournament Final here. Referee is Mark Allen. And it's game on here in the second half in Tampa. And it is for a title. And it's a title that could enhance your positioning in the NCAA tournament. Let's see what USF has here in the second half.
And already early on, so much better. Anticipating those balls coming through. Kelly Burney on that back line, getting her foot involved. Those are things earlier in the first half that were just bouncing, and Memphis was jumping on top of. USF able to maintain possession and sending those numbers forward. It's already a different energy.
Just want to go all the way back to Moberg now. Yeah, I mean, I think you could just go very simply and just say they didn't match the intensity in Memphis in the first half.
And that has to be so frustrating as a coach, especially when you feel that the warm-up was good and you don't expect your team to come out like that. But I completely agree. They were very reactive. Granted, Memphis was on the front foot. It helped that they had that press, but USF just reacting to everything, not taking the first step.
Clarissa Laracy to the end line now. She squares it back towards the penalty spot. So Laracy taking off Well, she left off in the first half, the game's lone goal scorer, again providing danger, and she's a threat both coming back to the ball and in behind defenses. Cello was trying to come out of there. It's going to be a throw in here for Memphis. Here's Larissy already off and running here in the second half.
Well, she was a step beyond the defenders on that, and I think she was also a step ahead of her own teammate. Not able to get on the other end of that was Warner, because at that point, Larissy had the speed and couldn't connect with that ball. It was sent where it needed to go, though.
Here's again the high press here of Memphis, and it's led to this throw in here. That challenge there coming in from number 10, Jessica Lisi, helping to stop this attack from USF. Conference tournament finals all over the country, the FCC, ACC, Big 12, all of their finals today as well. And then everybody tomorrow will be gathering around monitors and televisions and computers to find out about the NCAA tournament selection show. November 9th, first round of the NCAAs begin. November 30th, the Women's College Cup in Cary, North Carolina. That is the destination. Cheyenne Dennis has played for Jamaica's national team, who, by the way, are going to the Women's World Cup in France. Their coach, Hugh Menzies, getting them there. She was a part of qualifying, so she's got a great shot of being in a Women's World Cup next summer in France. Of course, the U.S. qualifying in tremendous fashion and dominating fashion. Nice give and go here, trying to be worked. It's broken up there. Stepping up was Olivier Gauthier. Who do you want to see more from USF, Morgan?
Well, if we want to start in the back, I like seeing Kelly Burney on the ball right there, but I want to see a little bit better decision making. I think in the first half it was so slow. Granted, Denise Schulte-Brown spoke to that as well, but it was slow, just the decision making, and they like to play out of the back, but nothing was really with a purpose. So I'd like to see her get on the ball and connect going forward, beat that press, find that ball central. I think also if they can get this ball wide, they have a really good freshman in Sydney Nasello. I don't think she's been on the ball too much. I think she's been caught wide. That's on her as well, to bring herself centrally and say, hey, I want the ball, give it to me, because you can see the frustration in her body language, but I don't think she's doing too much to insert herself into the game to change that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The movement off the ball doesn't seem with conviction. Passing angles need to be created here for USF. But it all gets back to a frustrated head coach at halftime, Denise Schulte-Brown, in her 12th season, who said basically we were slow to react, slow to move.
Well, and that comes down to little things too, because Cheyenne Dennis has the ball there, plays it wide, and then the player receives it facing her own goal. Those are little things. Get the ball face up. Bring it with the outside of your left foot if you're on the left side. If you continue to do those little things the wrong way, it kind of adds up and inhibits you from building an attack or getting forward.
Here's Lisi now, tackled away there by Nucello. Good defensive work from her. USF needs something to platform off here in the second half to kind of change this game, and immediately you think of Evelyn Vienne and a magical moment from her. That's a good penetrating ball out wide here. Sabrina Wagner knocks it inside. Nucello splits two. Good movement here from Nucello. They've got it out wide now. It's a good attack. They've got numbers into the box now. Here's USF. Cross comes in towards the penalty spot, cleared away by Mallon. Larissy, over the top this is going to go. This is Boychuk, who's going to challenge Martinez, who needs to get there, and it finally drops to her. And wonderful control here, and immediately though it's one back. Serena Dolan now for Memphis. We'll try it from long range. That's a hit that's going to go over the top and out for the goal kick here, ticking down towards the 39-minute mark.
When that big direct ball was played over the top from Memphis, I don't like the way that that was handled. But this last opportunity, getting forward on the ball is Dolan. She just takes her space, lets this one rip with her left foot. But going back to what I was saying, before that play, there's a long ball over the top. Cheyenne Dennis is calling her goalkeeper out. You see her motioning with her hand to bring the goalkeeper out. That ball's a slow roller. And that's a lot of ground for Martinez to cover because it's coming in slow. She has an attacker coming at her, and Dennis just kind of backs off and is jogging because she called her goalkeeper and she thinks she did the right thing and she lays off. I don't like that, seeing that, because as a center back, you are the last defender there. And you have an attacker going at your goal. You have to engage and you go and get to that ball unless your goalkeeper calls you off. You can't tell a goalkeeper to come and then just expect her to be there and stop your run in transition.
Bien trying to get there off the turn, and that's how quickly she can turn and face a defense, but she's going to need support. She's going to need a supply line. And there, USF has to go back because no angles to play forward there, and you could see Kelly Burney saying, look, I need some movement in front of me. Hawksdaughter tried to flick it to Nucello. Tackled away by Hawksdaughter. It has been a very physical Memphis as well. Putting a little bit extra into their challenges here today. Nucello now. Still Nucello. Nucello to the end line is going to pull a ball back. It's headed away. But a little bit vibrant play there from Nucello, positive here for USF.
Yeah, and we didn't see those spurts in the first half. And I think partially that's her working to get on the ball. We saw her popping a little bit here. She has the ball at her foot, is able to turn, does a nice job 1v1. But then on the other side defensively, Hudson Marks is there to close her down.
Hudson Marks was a striker, converted to a center back. Actually an outside back, now to a center back, because they want her athleticism and ability to move laterally in the middle. This one over the top. Be careful here. It's big trouble here. It's an empty net. It's Clarissa Laracy for number 2 for Memphis. They have stuck another one in here. It comes very direct, and Laracy rounding the goalkeeper Martinez and hitting an empty net. It's 2-0 Tigers. Took it beautifully. And Memphis has gotten the performance of a lifetime here today from the sophomore Clarissa Laracy in this final.
And we've heard so much about her speed. She just slips in behind Burney, takes advantage of that bounce, feels Martinez coming up, gets the touch around her, and finishes that one from distance.
It's been all so positive here at Corbett Stadium on the campus of USF this year for the Bulls. And they are in real trouble here in the second half against Memphis.
And that's what's frustrating. You see Chris Schulte-Brown and Denise Schulte-Brown talking, wondering how did that happen? Because USF had the momentum. And my first thought is, how does Laracy get behind Burney at that point? How is she on goal side of her with nobody else covering to help in that space? Right when USF was starting to gain some of that momentum, it's frustrating. But I think at the end of the day, it's also a motivator because they now have, what, about 35 and a half minutes to change this. They're on their home field, looking to maybe have a better spot, better fate in the NCAA tournament. So maybe that's what needed to happen for them to kind of find that extra motivation. And Laracy had so much time, picked her head up. This was an open goal at that point. Burney still did a nice job trying to close the space. That's a tough one for Martinez because she comes off her line.
The free kick now. Moberg will get off her line. Leah Furlan getting ready to come in for USF. He's seeking some motivation from Jacksonville, Florida. She's a redshirt senior. So Furlan on.
Substitution for USF. Entering for the Bulls, number 18, Leah Furlan.
USF deciding to go with 3 front runners. Ferland stepping in. She's going to play on that left forward flank.
Hudson Marks clears it. Begin and Ferland in there. And USF needs to stir this game up.
Well, and they also need to stop expecting to get calls. I know it's so frustrating as a player, but when you've seen that this game has maybe gone by with some extra elbows from Memphis that hasn't been called, maybe a ball out that wasn't called, you have to expect and not think that you're ever going to win a call, because if you don't expect to win it, you're going to keep playing.
Eddie Kitchen now. She just came on for Nicello. Here's Kitchen now. Nice ball into the feet here. And it's ultimately cleared by Werner. And Memphis striking early in both halves here. Werner. And both of the goals coming from Clarissa Larissy, who certainly gave the drum roll to the right player. Let's go down to Haley Outen. Haley.
USF's perfect record here at home at Corbett Stadium on the line, finding themselves down 2 goals. But Memphis, who's been perfect on the road this season, looking to keep it that way here in the championship final. Brooks Monaghan thinks that his team has been playing so well on the road this season because he actually thinks when they're not at home, there's much fewer distractions. This team likes to spend time together. They really enjoy each other's company.
Thank you, Haley. Long ball driven into the box here. This one from Jessica Lisi. But the implementation of game plans and tactics here, I don't think USF was surprised by anything that came today from Memphis. And here they come again now. This is Marie Levasseur. She squares it back to the penalty spot. Players going down in the box. Ball is still whipped in. It's headed away by Dennis. Lisi, real deep defending. This one will get rifled wide and out for the goal kick for USF here.
I think that one was meant to be whipped across frame. Lisi might have mishit it. Definitely had some pace behind it, but didn't force Martinez to make any sort of save.
They have just been so blanket tight on people. Again, a great run. This is Larissy again, who's going to square it back. It's Martinez with the clean handling. Larissy's movement causing all kinds of problems here today for USF.
Larissy slips behind once again. So dangerous, especially when they can find her with that ball. No runner there to get to the near post. But I think one thing that's interesting, we talk a lot about Memphis and the high press. They knew they needed this today. They said USF is a team, they're technical, they can pick us apart if we give them time. So we cannot give them time, and that's exactly what they've done. When you talk about a game plan, Memphis is a team that came in with one and has made sure that they execute everything, starting with what they need to do first, which is limiting what USF does well, being on the ball and also V-in.
Dennis to Kitching now. Kitching trying to work her way through midfield here. Good work back defensively. And Stasia Mallon, who's done a lot of the unsung hero work here today. This one over the top again. Again, the challenge here is Larissy. Off her line is Martinez, who reads this beautifully. Ball is lost. There's an empty net. Levasseur has helped it on. The offside flag is up. Memphis with a real chance to get goal number 3 here.
And it wouldn't have counted, but Martinez still got her hand on that save when she's working her way back into goal.
Larissa Larissy has been such a handful here today.
And she's been set up by players, her teammates, that are willing to do the work, to go for 50-50s. USF on that far side, the ball is just floating there. It comes down to who's going to get it first. And you have an outside midfielder expecting somebody else to get it. And that's what happens is if you have the mentality that I'm going to win this, and we're seeing that from Memphis, that's what sets teams apart, allows you to win any I keep going back to 50-50s because it's that mentality, and that's the easiest way to see it, is who is wanting to win these balls when either team just has to sprint to it and get the first touch.
Oh, it's a great ball into the box and fired over the top. That was the way back into this game. Hawksdottir on the end of it after some wonderful combination play. This is one of the better moments of the day for USF.
It's really good to see Hawksdottir coming out of the midfield like that. Once again, it's VN with the hold-up play. She knows she has the run coming through, slips that ball. Hawksdottir doesn't have much time, still ends up getting a shot off, granted not on frame. But it's good to see her getting into the attack and seeing that combination because those two can be so lethal.
Yeah, it's a combination that USF has not seen enough of today. Why is that?
I think Hawksdottir's done a lot of work, but she's been deeper. Early in that first half, we saw her getting the ball off the back line a lot. The back line wasn't looking to play forward, so she's the outlet, which means she has to drop deeper in front of the back line. Therefore, it's more ground to cover going forward. Also, we didn't see too much of VN holding up the ball and creating with others, part of which is because Hawksdottir is deeper, but also because of how Memphis has chosen to defend VN and going individually. Right now, they have two players on her, so VN hasn't really been able to find any space to get free.
It's kind of a catch-22 because you need Hawksdottir for the build-up and to get the ball off your backs, but you also want her closer, Evelyn Vienne, because those two are that lethal 1-2 combination for USF.
And I think part of the reason we didn't see as much offensive output either is we didn't see much from Kitchen getting forward. We saw a lot from her the other night, but from USF, she wasn't too busy under that front line. So there was just players that I don't think were stepping up like they normally do, and we've seen little glimpses of that in the second half.
Better from South Florida now, down a pair of goals to Memphis, who have owned the day so far. And now settling in more to sort of a deeper defending position as opposed to that high pressing game we've seen. Looked like a foul there. Going down was Warner. Good call. Game goes on. Bien knocked off it, goes to ground. And Memphis will get a free kick, much to the chagrin of the South Florida fans here in Tampa.
You have to give credit to Chanel Hudson-Marks and the way that she has defended Vienne individually. Vienne gets her on the turn. I definitely think there's a little elbow from Hudson-Marks, but she gets the tackle because she gets her foot stuck in. That's why she wins the ball. Then it's the second tackle coming through from USF, which leads to a set piece, or excuse me, free kick deeper in the half for Memphis.
Again, another throw here from Memphis.
Glenn, it went a bit unnoticed, but on that initial ball that went into VN, really well done from Sabrina Wagner, this left back. She gets forward, and it was when Memphis was brought down, Warner didn't get the call. She was a little frustrated, so you know Warner's going to come in for a tackle. It was really well done from Sabrina Wagner because she got the ball off and played it directly into the foot of VN and made sure that she wasn't caught into the tackle with Warner on the other end. So it's something really, really small, but it allowed her to make sure she got the entry pass in.
Emma Davies has come back on for USF.
And that was that entry pass. She feels the pressure coming on from Warner and is able to slide it in.
It's been a frustrating day here for USF. And if we go back to the earlier meeting this year in Memphis, USF got a 2-0 win over Memphis in that game. But remember, Memphis outshot USF 17-5 in that. It's 2 goals from Vienne in that. Cindy Martinez was absolutely outstanding in goal that day with 10 saves.
Well, and Brooks Monaghan feels that they played well in that game. He said Evelyn Vienne just individually beat us 2-0.
Emma Davies now. And again, the battling spirit in midfield is going to earn this free kick for Memphis. Yellow card is going to be brought out here, as the frustration continuing to build. Now, if you look at it this differently, USF picks off a goal here, they can get back in this and maybe change momentum.
Oh, they're absolutely still in this game. It just takes one. There's still 25 plus minutes left. There's a lot of time. And we've seen those spurts when USF has that offensive pressure and outlook. When they find Vienne, and it's not just her individually, it's the players underneath her working to help. So if she can't turn, they're there to build with her and maybe look for a shot like we saw earlier with Hawksdaughter.
Lisi to take the set piece. All eyes on that striker, Evelyn Vienne. Martinez took a nudge, good concentration there to collect. And guess who was in there trying to put a head on it? Larissa Laracy. She's been mobile, she has been dangerous. She has produced 2 goals today. Her movement has pulled apart USF here today.
Glenn, that's the key, is the movement. Sometimes you just see a player and you see their goals and you focus on what they've done, which take nothing away. She's put 2 away and her effort obviously paid off, but it's her movement. She's always causing these defenders for USF to know where she is.
Evelyn Vienne now in pursuit there. It's won there by Gauthier. Gauthier and Hudson Marks have been exceptional in the center of defense here today for Memphis. Boy, looking down at both benches, you can see what this means to both these coaches. And these are the types of games that can platform you into a good run in the NCAA tournament. Furlan. It's won back by Memphis now. Boychuk knocked it long. Martinez collects it for USF. Cheyenne Dennis. Furlan. Good touch from Furlan. AAC knocked it back, and this one's just dumped forward here by Serena Dolan. By the way, was also first team all-conference. 2 goals, 3 assists on the year for her. She's broken up a ton of plays in midfield here today.
When Laracy went up for that collision a little bit earlier with Sydney Martinez, she was a bit slow to get up, and you could see her looking over to the sideline.
So some concussion protocol here. Smart move by all involved, including referee Mark Alladin. Time for both coaches now to have conversations with their teams here. What do you, I put you into the mind right now of Brooks Monaghan.
His team's doing a really nice job of winning the balls when they can and limiting USF when they start to spark any sort of attack going forward. But I think for them, it comes down to when they win the ball, they have to connect passes. Because if they cough the ball up, USF, as this clock winds down, is going to continue to capitalize on whatever that they can, jump on it when they can. So for Memphis, it comes down to just playing simple. They don't need to rush to get a goal. They can slow the game down a bit. So try to stretch out. Can you stretch out Vienne? Can you stretch out getting forward Leah Furlan to force them out of their shape attacking-wise?
Well, there's the contact from Martinez on Laracy.
Looks like the arm from Martinez as she jumped up for that took Laracy, and at this point, Laracy has some more games to play in the NCAA tournament. Is there any need to keep her in? She's obviously proven that she could do what she needed to do today. So you're just wanting to take care of your player at this point.
Caroline Duncan has come on now for Memphis for Laracy. Let's go down to Haley. Haley.
We just saw Duncan enter the game, and before she went in, assistant coach Ted Bartels telling her to not allow USF to pass the ball through the middle and switch the point of attack. He really wants her to keep applying that pressure that's working so well for them.
Thank you, Haley. Good insight there from an assistant coach giving last-minute instructions to Caroline Duncan.
And I think another thing that we've seen from Memphis that's working is they've dropped Catherine Levasseur a little bit deeper. She's always been sitting in front of that back line, but right now she almost looks like she's a third center back, really deep on that line. Yeah, she's definitely rooted back there.
So it's a little different now. With the second goal, Memphis really has dropped their line of pressure quite a bit here, and they're basically daring USF to break them down.
And I think for USF, that's almost a good thing, because that means the high press isn't happening, and you can gain some momentum and maybe knock the ball around the back, find that confidence, and then slip a ball through the midfield, because there's that extra time and space. Granted, with Kathleen Levasseur deeper, there's an extra player on that back line pretty much, but still it gives more space for
Cancer to
USF.
attack. Stepping in there was Emma Davies. It's going to be a free kick now for USF. They certainly have to up the tempo and get things changed a bit here. If we're fair, their best chance of the game was a long-range hit that went off the crossbar. Outside of that, they haven't created what we would say is a real clear chance here today.
Well, in Kathleen Levasseur, that's the second time she's been late to a tackle. So for USF, if they can get that first touch, they're in a good spot.
Hawksdaughter off the free kick now, loads it up into the box. It's headed away. Who else but Olivia Gauthier winning the header. Ball played out wide now. It was by Caroline Duncan. Pushing it forward now, Stasia Mallon. 5 in the attack for Memphis. And 5 staying home and staying rooted. It's going to be a free kick now for USF.
Sydney Martinez has been so impressive in net for such a young player. She is quick off her line here. Caroline Duncan's trying to run through. But Martinez not just takes the hit. First off, she initiates it, she's coming out, but she holds on to the ball as well.
Wagner knocked it into midfield. Davies, Furlan now. Turns out of there, nice ball. Hawksdaughter, that's who you want on the ball. She's going to flare it out wide now. Kitching. Kitchen backing in a defender here. And stabbed away once again by Olivier Gauthier. But better from Kitching, taking some people on here. Oh, empty net here. It's a chance for 3. And Memphis may have just stuck in the final dagger. Caroline Duncan has produced goal number 3, and the Tigers are cruising now to an American Athletic Conference tournament win.
Memphis has been anticipating all game long, and that has been the biggest difference. They are ready for the ball when it comes through. They're waiting on it to be sent through, and that's exactly what Caroline Duncan did. This ball's played through. Nobody's even dropping with her. Sabrina Wagner's looking to her side. There's nobody out wide. She has to tuck in. It didn't happen, and Duncan takes advantage of that.
Tigers cruising here in Tampa. Serena Dolan. And this is a huge blow here now to USF.
Goal assisted by number 3, Samantha Murphy. Duncan from Murphy in the 70th minute. Corner kick for Memphis.
Tigers off the corner here. In it comes again. It's picked off out of the air there by Martinez. You have to begin to talk about this match from the perspective of your entire season. This is the last match of your year heading in to what is an NCAA tournament. And how do you regroup and reboot?
Well, with South Florida, it starts with that first goal so that you're not coming off a home shutout. Granted, remember, they haven't lost a home game in 14 games. They're on a 14 undefeated streak at home going back to August of 2017. They haven't lost an American Conference game since September of 2016. So this is a team for South Florida. They are completely stunned at this point. And it starts with getting that first goal to have some sort of positive momentum going into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, this is a rarity. This is something South Florida fans have not seen. This is something South Florida as a team has not felt here at home in Tampa.
what's interesting, it has to be a quick turnaround. The selection shows tomorrow, and then you get ready to play soon. So it's a couple days of training, and then it's figuring out who you're playing next, scouting the next opponent, prepping for that. So there's not much time to dwell on this if the result stays for USF. They have to be able to put this one behind them as they get ready for the postseason.
Dennis side puts it forward here. Hawksdaughter, and this is a familiar area we've seen her in, and she is, as you have mentioned throughout the broadcast, been very deep here today. One of the better conductors and orchestrators of the attack. Memphis still working here, still engaged, and holding on to a 3-0 lead here.
Substitution.
Rebecca Anderson will come on for the University of South Florida. And for Memphis, Lisa Paczerski will make her way on. Out will come Marie Levasseur, and boy, a couple of great games in a span of 3 days for her.
Yeah, and we didn't hear too much from her in the second half, but I also don't think it was as needed. She was definitely busy. I think she was also playing a bit more cautious than she was on that yellow card, because in the first half she had that engine we normally see from her, going strong into tackles, not afraid of any challenge. And I think in that second half it was a bit more reserved from Marie Levasseur.
Bien tried to slip a pass through there to Furlan, who had made a run beyond her. Dennis now. Sabrina Wagner. Hawksdaughter. And look at that. Look at the pressure on Hawksdaughter there. Two players converging and getting around her, not allowing her to get her head up. And that has been a large part of the story today for Memphis.
Well, that was the game plan. Memphis knew if we allow USF time on the ball, they're going to be able to pick us apart. So the most important thing for Memphis was to push centrally, or to push with that pressure, get numbers around the ball at all times. And I've been really impressed with the fact that they've done that now for about 75 minutes. It really hasn't let up at all. They forced USF to be special to find the space.
Ticking down towards 15 minutes left. More changes here. Let's go down to Haley Alton, the third member of our team.
Grace Duncan entering the game, and as she entered, head coach Brooks Monaghan telling her to use her speed, go forward. He doesn't want the ball going backwards. He says everything forward from here on out.
Thank you, Haley.
Glenn, that's interesting, because this is a Memphis team that doesn't need that fourth goal, but it obviously seems like they're wanting it. Or on the other end, it means that they're not as confident maybe with the ball around the back and playing simple. So I think you could look at that both ways. But I'm kind of taking it as Memphis at this point, they've had success going forward. Why change that at this point?
Well, now we're seeing a little bit higher pressure from them. Their pressure's going a bit higher now here to try and finish off this last 15 minutes. They had a period where they defended a little bit deeper, especially after the second goal. That doesn't mean once it's come into the Memphis half of the field that they haven't been getting tight on people and really getting good pressure on the ball. That's Lisa Paczerski wearing number 8 for Memphis. Paczerski, 20th appearance, only started once this year, has a goal and an assist on the season, but comes off the bench. In fact, in the semifinal, Memphis only used 2 subs, Paczerski and Samantha Murphy, which in the college game sometimes is a rarity with unlimited substitution.
I think it's definitely a rarity. You normally see some coaches go deep into that bench.
Ball diagonal into the box here, and again, Ferland just draped with Memphis defenders here. The back four for Memphis deserves a lot of credit here as well today. They've had a very active midfield in front of them, but they've been very organized, have dealt with everything, have denied the quality of Evelyn Vienne the ability to get turned here today. Not to mention shutting off her supply line.
And I think sometimes when you're worried about a certain player, it can often be individual, but for the most part, they've been linked together and done a nice job as a back four rather than just individual efforts all around.
Prior to today, Memphis had 4 road wins, well, 3 road wins out of 4 in 4 different cities. They first went up to Yukon, took on the Connecticut Huskies in Stores, and went down to Philadelphia with Temple, won back in Memphis, and then winning on Friday night here in Tampa, and looking well positioned here, barring an amazing comeback from USF here with a 3-0 lead here, ticking down towards 12 minutes left here in Tampa, Florida.
Good work from Nasello, just to hold on to the ball and not force anything. She was able to find that open spot, really calm on the ball too.
Ball's played wide, opportunity to get some delivery in here for South Florida. It's whipped in, not the best of clears here, but recovering beautifully there was Hudson Marks. Coming back on now, Marie Levasseur, who just got a quick break here from Memphis. Coming out from Memphis, Elizabeth Werner, the senior from Bloomington, Illinois.
Moberg close to her 13th clean sheet at this point. And when you also look kind of bigger picture, leaving this game, still expect to see both these teams in the NCAA tournament. With USF, how do they respond from this? What does the bounce back look like? What does the week of training look like? How do your leaders step up and keep this behind you? And then with Memphis, I think we're seeing a team that is in their first American Conference Championship. Senior heavy team. They rose to the occasion. We're ready to play in a postseason atmosphere. You're seeing that with the physicality, the pressure. I think they stepped up to the plate. And for them, how do they continue on with this? They're a team that, after this game, would still be undefeated on the road. That's so difficult to play against. If you look at any NCAA opponent, if they have to go on the road, that's the first thing you see with Memphis, how good they are away from home.
Looking on win number 11, that's remarkable to go on the road and win 11 of 11 games. But today, the big story is they've taken Hochstadter and Vienne out of the game here today. This one crossed in, both from a collective and individual standpoint. Martinez kind of bungled that distribution. May have taken a bit of contact here. Anyway, it works out for USF. Let's go down to Haley.
You guys mentioned this veteran Memphis group, and this is a team that head coach Brooks Monaghan really trusts. He thinks they're extremely mature, and he said, you know, at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, you're not going to be at your best. So that's why this team took to the beach here in Tampa yesterday, did their jog and stretch out on the sand and had some fun in the sand and water. And the players that didn't get a chance to make it in the game much Friday night broke a sweat, but just the team having fun, enjoying the overall conference tournament experience here in Tampa.
Well, we mentioned that before the game, that both these teams looked like they were really enjoying themselves. Now that's a little bit different right now with Memphis with a 3-0 lead over USF. Mark Allerton now coming over to talk to the USF bench. Ball driven forward, headed away by Gauthier, and Hudson Marks fouled. It'll be a free kick here for Memphis.
The USF frustrations are on the field, off the field. I think every fan right now in the stands is wondering what's up with these calls, but at that point, Hudson Marks just gets table-topped almost. She has a player underneath her. That is a foul. Maybe some of them have been questionable, but that one, it isn't.
Got a yellow card now coming out.
Yellow card possessing number 23, Grace Duncan.
So Grace Duncan's going to pick up that yellow card. I'm talking to Denise Schulte-Brown. You know, they wanted to really put an exclamation point on winning the regular season with the conference tournament. Also to put into the minds of the selection committee that they could be hosting first or second round NCAA tournament matches. Both these teams ranked in the top 20 nationally. Of course, again, representing the American Athletic Conference and the strength of women's soccer here. It's going to be a free kick.
Glenn, we were speaking to that a bit off camera earlier. How lucky we are to get 1 and 2 in the championship. We don't always see that. Sometimes crazy things happen when it comes to postseason play, but to have a team like USF and Memphis who are so good all season and consistently challenging, and then we look at just the storylines in this game. A team undefeated at home, a team undefeated on the road. We have 3 of the players of the year in terms of forward, midfield, and defensive player of the year, coaching staff of the year in this game, 2 unanimous first teamers. There's a lot going on in this game.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think one thing you look directly to here is that in the semifinals in beating the University of Central Florida and holding on here today, which looks inevitable here with this 3-0 lead, unless something miraculous happens here for South Florida, you've reversed results during the regular season that were losing results against 2 teams. This is a great way to head into an NCAA tournament.
That's a
ball
great
hit here. Gauthier now is going to nod it back to her goalkeeper, Moberg. She only had 1 save in the semifinal against UCF. Sophomore from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Glenn, that's a great point, what you were saying, being able to reverse results. And what I see from that is a team that's able to learn from their mistakes or what didn't work out well and have a better game plan coming in and being able to execute that.
Parks goes to it. Changes now.
Substitutions. Entering for Memphis, number 12, Tanya Wojcik. And for USF,
Wojcik comes back on for Memphis. Hawkstadter comes off. Tough day for her because didn't really get the ball in the areas maybe she wanted. That was a dilemma today, her being deep in midfield and not being able to get as close maybe as they would have liked to Vienne.
And that was one thing. They wanted her on the ball more. They felt that she wasn't on the ball enough versus ECU, which I think they did that, but like you said, not in the positions they would like Hawkstadter to be. A little bit deeper. Yes, she's creating, but not as dangerous since she's so deep in her own attacking half.
Andrea Hawkstadter was the midfielder of the year in the American. First team all-conference, very talented player. It's knocked out wide here. Levasseur. A free kick USF. Less than 5 minutes left here. Crowd is trying to beg the referee, Mark Allerton, to give a second yellow card there. And Marie Levasseur, who needs to finish this one out with emotional control here.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see her subbed out just because there's no need at this point to keep her on the field, and with the tensions that have already kind of risen throughout this game. I think Marie Levasseur is a player that could maybe fall victim to that, having that first yellow already.
Let's go down to Haley.
Lizzie Warner waiting to go in the game, and that's exactly right. We will see her going in for Marie Levasseur, rather, the coaching staff wanting to get her out of this game just to be safe.
There you go. Three minds working together well, and we'll add the coaching staff of Memphis in as well. So there's four, and like that, out goes Marie Levasseur.
Entering for Memphis, number 4, Elizabeth Warner.
And Elizabeth Werner comes back on here.
For USF Lexi, 2 Breeze.
Switch of play from South Florida now. Bree Blevin. Dennis.
It's negative once again, and it's not a terrible idea from Blevin when she's on the ball, but I think her first touch let her down, so she wasn't able to look direct because there's opportunities going forward. Both USF, the first look keeps being backwards, not forwards, and that's why they can't advance.
Elizabeth Moberg in goal today here from Memphis, working on shutout number 13, has been protected beautifully today. And you can't discount the vitalness of getting the game's first goal here today for Memphis. Off the opening whistle today, the sharper of the two teams. And a great start set them on their way to a great day today, and what is going to be a title here. Less than 3 minutes left.
That's one of the things that's been most impressive is they were the better team from the first whistle and maintained that for a full, at this point, 87 plus minutes.
And when your top goal scorer and one of the top strikers in the nation has been pulled out of a game, you know it's pretty much thinking about now the NCAA tournament going forward for USF, as Evelyn Vienne taken out minutes ago. Memphis now trying to see this one out with a 3-0 lead here in Tampa. Serena Dolan has chased literally everything here today in midfield. And again, just a wonderful job of closing people down by Serena, cutting out passing lanes, and being a presence in midfield here today. Werner for Memphis. Memphis working on win number 17. 11-0 if this holds, which it will. On the road this year, and that again is remarkable, and that may have a lot to do with, I believe, their playing style, their aggressiveness, and their want and desire to get after putting pressure on the ball and opponents.
I think it has to do with that and a lot of their senior leadership. I think when you have a group of veteran players, it's their final year, and they're bought into that. So it starts with the playing style, but when you have players that are bought into that and know that they are successful with this high press, win starting right off the bat, no breaks.
Some of those seniors we'd mentioned: Olivia Gauthier, center back; Chanel Hudson-Marks, center back here today; and then Catherine Levasseur, as long as her sister Marie Levasseur. All key seniors here. They do have the senior leadership, which coaches always talk about in the college game. Ball just kind of ping-ponging around here. This won't end soon enough here for USF, who will collect themselves under their coach Denise Schulte-Brown and begin to prepare for an NCAA tournament where tomorrow the selection will be made. That'll do it. It is going to be a first ever American Athletic Conference tournament final win The Memphis Tigers have done it here today. They are 3-0 winners over USF.
Glenn, they did that with a statement. To be able to avenge that 2-0 loss from earlier in the season, to be able to do it away from home on USF's home field with the shutout, shutting down Vienne, shutting down Hawksdaughter. I mean, completely owned this game from the first whistle, that early goal. We have to give a lot of credit. Starting off this game was Clarissa Laracy, just the energy that she brought to this game, putting 2 goals away, especially that first one was the key.
And there it is, to the spoils. To the victor goes the spoils. 2 goals today for Laracy, 1 for Duncan. The Memphis Tigers, the 2018 American Athletic Conference champions. So that'll do it today from Tampa, Florida. The Memphis Tigers win number 17 on the year. They do it against one of the tops in the nation, the University of South Florida. That'll do it today from Tampa. Glenn Davis from Morgan Conklin and Haley Outen. We say goodbye. Memphis are the American Athletic Conference Tournament final winners.